Hi, what's up, everybody, and welcome to a Friday edition of Time Out Overtime on the Time Out Overtime YouTube channel. Uh, Bear with me here for just a second. I've got to get something squared away on the phone here. Okay, there we go. All right, sorry about that. Live and direct from the Frank Beck Chevrolet Studio Annex. This is another edition of Time Out Overtime on the Time Out Overtime YouTube channel. I'm Rick Arsenal. You know the drill. If you haven't done so yet, get down there in the corner, smash that like and subscribe button. Thank you very, very much. Spread the word, tell your friends. Let them know that the next subscriber to my podcast will be the winner. And if you've seen my show in the past, you already know what the winner will win. Okay. Thought we'd start out with baseball tonight. Game 6 of the World Series. They're back in Toronto. Blue Jays take a 3-2 lead into the game tonight. They win either tonight or tomorrow night. They've got their first World Series championship since 1993. I still think the Dodgers are going to win the next two. To me, they've got their ace going tonight, Yamamoto versus Gaussman for the Blue Jays. Yeah, this is going 7. Game 7 will be tomorrow night. Also, John Heyman of the New York Post and MLB Network posted a story this morning regarding Tarik Skubal. I'm not going to get into the specifics of it. I want to wait until after the baseball season is over with, and it will be over with by Monday. So I thought we'd either Monday or next Wednesday. I'm going to delve into this more specifically. It's exactly what he said and what this means, and the pending lockout for the 2027 season, et cetera, et cetera. We'll get into all that next week, okay? I don't really have time to delve into that too deeply tonight, but so yeah, next week, the Monday, we're going to be recapping all the football activity. I think maybe next Wednesday, we'll spend some time talking about that. The Tarik Skubal situation with the Tigers and his agent, Scott Boras, and the pending 2027 lockout. Wait until the season gets over with to start talking hot stove league. How's that? Okay. Hockey. As you saw in the headlines, the Wings got a rather bizarre win last. Anyway, they're pardon me. They're 8-3 right now. Okay, 16 points, tied with Montreal for the lead in the Atlantic Division of the Eastern Conference. Only the Pittsburgh Penguins, who play one more game, have more points than they do. They've got 18. Wings 8-3 right now. Last night, before we get into that, they play tonight. They're playing in Anaheim tonight. That's about 40 miles south of LA. Depending on the traffic, it could take you anywhere from an hour to 2 hours to get down there. I'm sure they went by bus. 10 o'clock tonight in Anaheim. And they've got 2 more games left out there. They've got a game Sunday night in San Jose and Tuesday night in Las Vegas before coming back here to play the Rangers next Friday night at Little Caesars. Okay, so they've gotten off to a good start. Very bizarre game last night. I'll be as brief as I can on this. Make a long story short, they got behind 1-0, scored the next 3 goals. So they've got a 3-1 lead with about 3 minutes left in the game. And as teams always do when they're 1 or 2 goals behind late in the game, they pull their goalie for an extra attacker in the opposing zone. You've got 6 men on the ice, and Of course, that includes your goalie. So anyway, they pulled the net was empty. Okay, they had the extra attacker on. Make a long story short, they scored a goal with about a minute 43 left. Okay, now it's a 3-2 game. Their net is still empty. They scored again with about 30 seconds left. They scored another goal to tie the game. Sent it to overtime. With about 30 seconds or less than 30 seconds left in overtime, LA scored again. It appeared as though they had won the game 4-3. I know of somebody who immediately turned it off, thinking, doggone wings, well, at least they got a point out of this anyway, assuming that they had lost. I didn't even stay up for it. It was too late. That's past my bedtime. I didn't stay up for it, but they did. It was a little after 1, maybe about 1:15 or something like that. So they went to bed thinking that the Wings had lost last night, only to wake up this morning and find out they had actually won. So what happened was the overtime goal that the Kings scored was waved off due to goal crease or goaltender interference. Okay, the player who scored the winning goal, no question about it, or not the winning goal, but the lead goal, was clearly in the crease. So the goal was disallowed. So they went to a shootout. Lucas Raymond scored the only goal in the shootout, and the Wings ended up winning the game 4-3. They got the 2 points. It was the Kings that got the 1 point out of it. Bizarre game. They played some bizarre games here lately. You had the game here last week. St. Louis had a 4-0 lead, and the Wings scored the next 6 to win. They played some pretty bizarre games. That would have been a very, if they lost that game last night, that would have been a very discouraging game to lose. You just don't see that very often. It's less than 50% when you're just behind by a goal if you pull your goalie, and the other team doesn't score an empty net goal. But to score 2 goals in that short period of time, and you can't get your hands on that puck to shoot it down the ice into the net. If I'm Tom McClellan, you got to work on that, guys. You better to work on that. That's not good. Of course, I've always said I'd rather be lucky than good, but clearly that goal that the Kings scored with 30 seconds left in the overtime period was clearly not a goal. The player that shot the puck in the net was clearly standing in the crease, so that was an easy call for the guys in Toronto to make. Anyway, Anaheim Ducks tonight, 10 o'clock tonight, and then 10 o'clock on Tuesday night from Las Vegas before they head back home, as I said, to play the Rangers here next Friday night. Pistons are 3-2, coming off a nice win over Orlando. With the moves the Magic made in the offseason, you thought they were going to be very competitive in the East this year. So far, they have not, but it's early. So the Wings 3-2 are playing the Mavericks tomorrow night in Mexico City. It's a 10 o'clock game, another late game tomorrow night. Okay. As I said, they've gotten off to a decent start too, but I don't know why they're playing in Mexico City tomorrow night either. Okay, we got you caught up on basketball. Let's do this for all of our sponsors. As I've said recently, we are so proud and delighted to be able to welcome the Finish Line Family Restaurant to our family of sponsors here. The Finish Line Family Restaurant on Carlton Road. Everybody knows where that is. In Hillsdale, directly across the street from Arrow Swift Printing. It's been a landmark in our area now for the last, 40 years or 4 decades. And now, of course, with the under the new ownership and the expanded hours, Monday, Thursday, and Friday from 6 a.m. to 8 p.m. and Saturday, Sunday, Tuesday, and Thursday from 6 a.m. to 3 p.m. And they've got a lot of new menu items, exciting new. I'm anxious to try all of this. these new menu items that they have there. They're like Carl's Cajun chicken wrap and new special bread BLT. They've got something called a Darcy burger. I'm told that's a mixture of 3 different blends of beef, including ground chuck. Can't wait to try that. New daily specials coming soon: homemade spinach and artichoke dip, grilled cheeseburger with brisket blended burger mix. This all sounds so mouth-watering and good. I can't wait to try all of these new items. I really can't. So, again, don't forget the new hours: Monday, Thursday, and Friday, 6 a.m. to 8 p.m. And again, Saturday, Sunday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, 6 a.m. to 3 p.m. Finish Line Family Restaurant on Carlton Road in Hillsdale. Award-winning breakfast, great family atmosphere, reasonably priced. It's got everything you want in a restaurant, believe me. For somebody that's been going there now for the last 40 years, I can testify to that. So I'll see you at the finish line. How's that? Okay. We're also brought to you in part by Frank Beck Chevrolet on M99 between Hillsdale and Jonesville. With today being the last day of the truck month, today is the 31st. Buck Ellis wanted me to remind you all about mark it on your calendars. November the 15th and 16th, obviously coinciding with the firearm deer hunting season, the Buck Bowl at the Jerome Country Market. That's going to be a big deal. A lot of big goings on there then. WCSR will be broadcasting out there. Representatives from Beck Chevrolet will be out there. Big doings. A lot of big doings. How many years they've been doing this? A lot. I don't know how many, 10, 15, what? I don't know exactly how many years they've been doing it. But yeah, mark it on your calendars. November 15th and 16th, the Buck Bowl, Beck Chevrolet Buck Bowl at the Jerome Country Market. Okay? Deer hunting season. Just a couple of weeks away now. Good luck to all you hunters. Best of luck. I saw several deer in front of my house this morning, running across the road, as I usually always do in the early morning hours. And we're also brought to you in part, don't forget, Chevrolet Together Let's Drive, and of course, Chevy Drive, Southern Michigan. And Frank Beck Chevrolet is the #1 selling Chevrolet dealer in our immediate tri-state area. We're also brought to you in part by Barrett Insurance on the corner of M99 and US 12 in downtown Jonesville. 517-849-1000. That's Barrett Insurance, BarrettINS.com. Barrett Insurance, protecting your dreams on M99 and US 12 in downtown Jonesville. 517-849-1000. Barrett Insurance, protecting your dreams. That's BarrettINS.com. Football. Of course, tonight is opening night for the MHSAA postseason tournament. Good luck to the local teams that are in that. I think Jonesville, and I can't remember who else other than Jonesville. I'm sorry, I apologize. I'll have that for you. We'll talk about it tomorrow morning. I should know that, but I don't. Also, college football tomorrow. This doesn't happen very often. Michigan State and Michigan are on back-to-back tomorrow on the Big Ten Network. Michigan State is in Minneapolis to play Minnesota Golden Gophers. 3:30 kickoff tomorrow. Minnesota, 3-point favorite. I don't know why it's that low. Home team automatically gets 3 points. Little surprised by this line. I'm not going to question the guys in Las Vegas. They know their stuff. They know what they're doing. But also then, again, as I said, on the Big Ten Network, and then right after that, that's a segue into the Michigan-Purdue game at the Big House tomorrow night at 7. Boy, Michigan was like a 3-touchdown favorite in that game. I think at least 21 points anyway. I think they'll cover that. I'm not a bettor, but Purdue's not very good. They're just not. So anyway, that's also on the Big Ten Network tomorrow night at 7 o'clock after the Michigan State Minnesota game. A little bit about the Lions game on Sunday with the Vikings. But let's do this. Quality PC, downtown Hillsdale, as you know, with their help and their patience, we wouldn't be doing this podcast right now. 517-610-5372. Quality PC, 37 Walter Street in downtown Hillsdale. The only place to go for tech services in our area. Quality PC, downtown Hillsdale. Tim Lindley and his staff more than capable of resolving any technical issues you may have, whatever it is. Be it computers, new or used, flat screen TV, mounting, programming setup. Perhaps you're changing internet providers, you need that installed. Printers, new or used, anything at all. Get in there and see those guys. And like I said, they're more than capable of resolving any technical issues you have. We are so blessed and thankful to have them in our area. Quality PC, downtown Hillsdale, 517-610-5372. Or better yet, get in there and see them and tell them me and Mickey sent you. Will you please? Thank you very much. Quickly, Lions. 8.5 point favorites over the Vikings on Sunday, 1 o'clock at Ford Field. In case you missed it, it was a blowout win last night for the Ravens over the Dolphins. Pretty much of a stinker for a Thursday night football game. Was not competitive. And for that reason, the Dolphins general manager is no longer there. I don't know why I don't know why the coach is, but he is. So it looks like the Dolphins are more than likely be having a fire sale by the trade deadline on Tuesday. I don't expect the Lions to do anything earth-shattering. In his press conference today, Dan Campbell said he doesn't think they will, but Brad Holmes has been working the phones. I think if they do make a move, it will be to add depth either in the secondary or at possibly at edge or maybe on the offensive line at tackle. Other than that, I think they're pretty well set. As the team is right now, it's a Super Bowl caliber team, I think. There's no rebut to that. So, yeah. Injuries. J.J. McCarthy is listed as questionable at quarterback for the game Sunday. He'll probably play. I have no doubt that he'll play, but he is listed as questionable right now. The Vikings are a bit banged up on the offensive line. Carson Wentz is done for the year. Ross Tucker of the NFL, Ross Tucker, an analyst for Westwood One Radio and CBS, heard him mention yesterday, he thought his sources are telling him J.J. McCarthy could have played 2 weeks ago. He could have played. Okay. He was much better off physically than Carson Wentz was. Let's put it that way. But Kevin O'Connell thought Wentz gave them a better chance to win. Now, right now, he doesn't have any choice. You got to go with McCarthy. McCarthy's played 2 games this year, and he's only had 1 good quarter. I think the Lions win. Do they win by 8.5? I'll let the bettors decide that. I don't bet, but they shouldn't have any problems winning this game. Or at least a touchdown anyway. Let's put it that way. It's 8.5 now. It could be more than that by the time the game starts. It could change to 11:30 Sunday morning if suddenly we find out McCarthy's not playing. Anyway, quickly too, I covered that. Hockey, Wings. I wanted to go over the standings here before we get out of here. I had that on the phone here. So right now, the Wings are tied for first with Montreal. They both have 16 points. You look over in the Metropolitan Division, the Penguins have 18 points, but they played 1 more game than the Wings have. It's early. After what happened last night, I'm sure Todd McClellan now knows that the Wings have some work to do when they on the penalty kill or the odd man disadvantage. That never should have happened. That game never should have come to that last night. But they got lucky and they won. Okay, and I've always said I'd rather be lucky. I'd rather be lucky than good. I've always said that. Okay, that's going to do it. Don't forget tomorrow morning here locally on 92.1 WCSR, 92.1 FM, Timeout Show with Andy and Jed. I'll talk to you all again on Monday when we try to wrap up what transpired over the weekend. So that'll do it. Thank you so much for watching, listening. Please remember to treat each other with respect. Tell your friends next subscriber will be the winner. So until tomorrow morning on WCSR, I will simply say thanks for watching. Have yourselves a great weekend. Like I said, please treat each other with respect. So long. Bye-bye. Good night, everybody. See ya.